Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kwame Chumisi. So this video is basically tailored for international students. I'm going to basically go through the changes and the proposed changes that are coming into effect from the 1st of July and also the ones we are waiting on the legislation for. Without talking too much, I'm going to share my screen so we get right into it. I've based these changes on these two documents, okay? Yeah, so the first document is basically the review of the migration system and also the budget for 2023-2024 that was also released this month. Okay, so I'm going to leave these two documents in the description section below. Just go and have a read for yourself. Before we get started, just know that I'm not a migration agent. I've just been living in Australia for some time now and I'm well researched. I'll also highly recommend you also do your own research, so you add your research to mine so you have a better place to stand when it comes to you migrating to Australia. So let's get right into it. So international students, the changes and the proposed changes that are coming. Alright guys, so the first on the list is working hours for international students. Okay, so from the 1st of July 2023, all international students will be able to work 48 hours per fortnight. This is awesome. Okay, and if you're an international student that is working as a support worker, so if you're someone that is working in the aged care sector or disability sector, or you're a nurse, if you're a support worker, you'll be able to work unlimitedly till December 2023, which is awesome. This applies to chefs too. Okay, so this is great news for international students. One, they've increased the hours, which means more money into your pocket. This shows you how Australia needs a lot of support workers and also Australia needs a lot of chefs. Okay, so this is great news. Second on the list is increased visa fees for international students. Okay, so from the 1st of July 2023, the visa fee will jump from 650 Australian dollars to 715 Australian dollars. So this is not too bad. Okay, yeah, so 650 to 715 is not a massive jump, but hey, I know money's really hard to come by these days, but hey, what can you do? All right, so the third on the list is the English language requirements. So this is a proposed changes that is coming into effect. Okay, they've not passed the legislation yet, but they will be increasing the English language requirement. Apparently, the sort of IELTS course in international students, both international and graduate visa students are using to enter Australia is very low, so Australians want to set the bar high, okay, for English language requirement. This is kind of sad, man, because I know these English test exams are not easy. Yeah, are not easy, but anyways, Australia is an English speaking country and they want people to have like a high quality education when they travel to Australia. And in also saying this, if they are increasing the English language requirements, meaning they are hoping for a lot of international students to be able to get into the labor market once they finished what do you call it, their studies. This is just from my point of view, because if they are increasing the English language requirements, meaning they need people that can speak clearly so they can work, they can join the labor force in Australia after their studies. This is just my point of view, okay? Please do not judge me on that. All right, so the next on the list is temporary graduate visas. So once you finish your studies in Australia, automatically you'll be granted a temporary graduate visa after completing your student visa. This is really awesome. I think they found out that almost 90% of every international student that finished their studies goes on to apply for their temporary graduate visas, and these visas can take ages. Okay, so they've come to a conclusion that why not just grant this after your studies. So once you finish your studies in Australia, straight away you'll be granted a temporary graduate visa, which is really awesome. This will actually minimize the waiting times as to how long you need to wait to get a visa outcome when you apply for these temporary graduate visas. So this is also a positive news, okay, and it's also a proposed change. Hopefully they pass the legislation to this one. So the next on the list is 2 years post-study work rights. This is awesome. Okay, so if you are in the agricultural sector, ICT, engineering, teaching, healthcare, and medicine, automatically you get an additional 2 years post-study work rights in Australia. Okay, so if you are thinking of coming to study in Australia, you can target any of these sectors. Okay, so this also again shows you that Australia is in high demand for people in the agricultural, ICT, engineering, teaching, healthcare, and medicine sectors. All right, so another proposed changes that is coming into effect, we are still waiting on the legislation for this one, is the GTE, which stands for the Genuine Temporary Entrance Requirement. Okay, the GTE. So this is basically a requirement that every student that is trying to study in Australia will have to go through. Okay, so this basically proves, you are basically proving to immigration that your intention of coming to Australia is actually coming to study, and not just using a student visa as a stepping stone of you coming to Australia to just focus on work, or coming to Australia with the intention of you becoming a permanent resident. Okay, so the GTE was basically established so you can prove your genuineness as you coming to have a quality like education in Australia. All right, so they found that this GTE is not actually working. Okay, so the proposed changes that is basically coming is they are going to change this GTE into GST. GST basically means genuine student test. So they are going to implement like a genuine student testing system in place of the GTE that they found not to be too effective. Yeah, so this will basically eliminate all students or everyone that is not coming to study genuinely in Australia, if that makes sense. So we just have to wait and see the sort of requirements or the sort of testing system they are going to implement for international students. This is also a proposed changes. Okay, we are waiting on the legislation for this. And the last but not the least is a streamlined PR pathway. Okay, so currently in Australia we got over 1.8 million people stuck on a temporary visa. Okay, and these people, most of them just keeps moving from one temporary visa to the other, and this includes students. All right, so basically the government is going to bring out like a streamlined PR pathway which will make it easier for people on a temporary residence with the certain sort of skill sets, okay, that are in high demand in Australia to become permanent residents easily. So this applies to what you call it. Let's say if you're on a visa for subclass 4A2 and you want to become a permanent resident. So once you jump onto the visa subclass 4A2, within 2 years you become a permanent resident in Australia. We are still waiting for the legislation to be passed on in regards to this point. That's basically all for today, guys. Thank you so much. So if you are a student living overseas and you are thinking of migrating to Australia and you need help with your application, I actually I'm connected with educational agents in Australia that are really good, that can help you out with your application. So if you are someone like that, you can basically email me on contact@princegittle.com.au. Just know that I'm not a migration agent, guys. So I'll basically recommend an educational agent for you based on where you want to study, if that makes sense. So this is for serious people. Okay, so what you basically have to do is just email me your resume. I don't want any other documentation. Just email me your resume. Yep. And based on your resume, I'll pass you onto educational agents that can help you out. All right. For people that are always asking questions, please, I've got videos here, so please watch the videos before asking questions, because I started this conversation with one of my viewers on YouTube, and 100 emails later, we are still talking. He's still asking questions. Okay, so this takes a lot of time. All right. As I said, I'm not a migration agent. I'm not an educational agent. Okay, I just do this to help you guys out there. All right. So when you are emailing me, just make sure you are ready. to get through the process, and I can recommend you to an educational agent that can help you out. My name is Kwame Chumisi. If you find this content useful, you know what to do. Please show some love and click on that subscribe button, ring down the notification bell so you do not miss out when I release another video. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.